I'm Greg Shapiro, and let's queer up the USA View. Trump asks DoorDash driver about trans athletes. She shuts it down. In a White House event meant to spotlight economic policy, an unexpected exchange shifted attention away from the intended message. On Monday, President Donald Trump hosted Arkansas DoorDash driver Sharon Simmons to highlight a no tax on tips initiative. The White House said Simmons, a full-time dasher since 2021, earned about $11,000 in tips last year, now tax-free under the Working Families Tax Cuts. Officials framed her story as proof that the policy is helping service workers. They also noted her husband reduced work hours for cancer treatment and that the tax change helped cover medical costs and lost income. But during questions outside the Oval Office, Trump pivoted.
They want to have, open borders. They want to have men playing in women's sports. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
I really don't have an opinion on that.
You don't? I'll bet you do.
No, I'm here about no
pizza.
tax on tips.
Yeah.
The moment drew attention online, with the Human Rights Campaign posting, quote, "Sir, this is a Wendy's," end quote. This is not the first time that Trump has raised transgender issues in unrelated settings. So his deepening dementia continues to cause him to pivot off script, reinforcing his ongoing decline. If only he'd pivot and shuffle off this mortal coil.
Oh gosh. Well, I was watching a body language analysis on my social media feed because I like to learn about certain unspoken things that people put out in the world. And did you notice how he kind of did this shift, the mimic? That's actually the end stage of dementia, is when your frontal lobe, usually what we do is because we're communicative with people, we like to replicate what they do in order to be in sync with people. What she was doing was going like this, and then he did it himself, but our brains are so quick and they stop us from doing that because it's inappropriate. His brain didn't stop him from doing that. So a lot of doctors are opining online that this is a guy, fortunately for some people, but unfortunately because he's a human being, he's a guy that's not in a position to be running the country, if he ever was, but definitely not at this stage in his dementia journey. So,
well, I mean, he can't even stay on topic.
Right,
Whole thing.
That's true.
You know, I noticed that he had McDonald's delivered, and
as usual.
That is, no offense, McDonald's, because sometimes I got to run through a drive-through, but what kind of example is he setting for folks that the President of the United States, a billionaire, eats fast food?
Yeah.
Well, especially with RFK Jr. being...
the men's hockey team got, isn't that what they got when they went?
Yeah.
And the women went to Las Vegas.
he seems like a picky eater. I work with kids, and it's like, they'll only eat chicken nuggets and French fries. I'm sure he's eating some Big Macs and Diet Cokes. But definitely he's got the palate of, he's got the mind of a 100-year-old and the appetite palate of an infant. It's really, he's really at both ends of that extreme.
I was watching a woman, a political influencer the other day, had come up with 5 or 6 great statements back to people that are crossing your political boundaries or your boundaries of beliefs in public, trying to make statements. And I couldn't help but notice that the lady in the pink t-shirt was extremely uncomfortable and intimidated, but she stuck to her guns and walked away. And it reminded me of my favorite one out of the list of statements, because I tried to memorize them all, which was just, sir, I'm the wrong person for you to bring
I
that
love
up
that.
to.
Great. That's a good boundary statement.
I'm not the right person to talk to about that.
I think we're on the same algorithm because I've seen that before, and I think that's great.
It could be that she supports transgender people and she didn't want to contradict him. So she said, I have no problem.
That's the safe way to get out of it.
And she's also, I did a little research on her, not too much because it wasn't that interesting to me, but for the little moment that it was with my ADHD, I looked her up and I noticed that that she is on the speaking circuit.
She is,
she
yeah.
does speak at state legislatures.
person.
She is a
she
MAGA
is a MAGA.
person.
Wow.
But even, I listen to a lot of different things, and even the MAGA people are moving away from MAGA
Shut up.
because they're really, it's not that they don't want to make America great, they just don't like the current incarnation
Yeah.
Well,
that the president is leading.
Some of them, it's-
Unfortunately, we're going to be talking about him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the
there's
show.
a lot of
Well,
those
he's
kind of
still
Save
Doing a
some of
lot
that
of
oxygen.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, so
All right.
I'll save my next opinions for the next one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll
right.
have a couple of chances to do
Yeah, that's
that.
right.
There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.